Chris Mackowski of Emerging Civil War with Terry Rensel, one of my ECW colleagues and Executive Director of the Central Virginia Battlefield Trust. And today we are at Antietam National Battlefield. And Terry, this is your first time at Antietam.
Yes, it is, Chris.
You are about to lose your Antietam virginity today.
About time.
So what are you looking forward to today?
You know, I'm looking forward to walking the ground and getting an overview of the battle and seeing some of the really iconic locations here on the battlefield, the Sunken Road, the Burnside Bridge, Dunker Church, and really having an immersive experience.
What have you done to prep for today?
I've read the books that our colleagues in Emerging Civil War have written about both the Maryland campaign and here at Antietam.
So to commemorate the anniversary of the Battle of Antietam, we're going to visit this battlefield. It's the 16th of September. You're watching this on the 17th of September, and we're going to unfold this battlefield for Terry and get his impressions as we go, fighting with our masks the whole time so that we're socially distanced. You're a Yankee, I see.
Yes, I am.
A New York Yankee. So am I.
Yeah.
So we look forward to having you join us here today as we explore Antietam. Let's go.
Let's go.
We are at Antietam National Battlefield exploring for Terry's very first time. We're fighting some winds, so please bear with us. And of course, we're trying to social distance as well.
Responsible battlefielding.
Responsible battlefielding, that's right. So Terry, we've just walked around this area here, around the visitor center, and I'll let folks see you real quick. This is the ground we've just been traversing. What are your thoughts so far?
This is really interesting, the way that the land undulates and everything, that there is no hard ridge line, that, you know, the Union Army coming through this position would get, you know, lost in the swales and everything coming in, and so makes it hard to keep the integrity of the line together and attack as one force. And now I can understand how it ends up being this piecemeal thing that, you know, the Army of the Potomac's just fed in a little bit at a time because they can't keep their line integrity. And that, you know, that really helps me to understand how it all just kind of fell apart.
Now you have a bingo card of prominent battlefield landmarks you wanted to see. The first one, the Dunker Church, which is right there over your shoulder now.
Here, let me slide in a little.
So your thoughts about your first check off the bingo card?
You know, and I know it's not the original structure, but it's such a fascinating, you know, building, and, you know, real small. I mean, I think of Salem Church there in Fredericksburg, and this is even smaller than that. And, you know, kind of right in the heart of what was going on, and just really fascinating. And I can understand, I mean, an easy landmark to identify on the field, and just, you know, an absolutely great piece of history.
We're going to continue our explorations. Join us here as we continue across Antietam National Battlefield. So, Terry, you're in the cornfield. There's actual corn still standing behind you.
In the cornfield, imagine that.
But we're standing sort of in some harvested corn stubble. You're on the ground, some of the most iconic ground of the Civil War.
Yeah, and looking back towards the direction of the Confederate line and the area of the visitor center, yeah, it's like, okay, it just kind of slopes up and then disappears. And, you know, this must have been really hard to, one, know where your enemy is and judge the distance. And
of course, this is all covered with corn at the time that's still standing, so it's almost impenetrable to see through.
Absolutely. And I marvel at the fact that, you know, tens of thousands of men just marched across here and, you know, didn't know exactly what was awaiting them.
And I want to show folks, because Hooker has that very famous quote about the rows of dead neatly lying on the ground as though they were cut down like stalks of corn. And here's what that actually looks like if we're in the cornfield, and what rows of corn cut down actually look like. So imagine the rows of men just absolutely devastated. And for folks who are curious, corn in the cornfield, you can see how taller it is than I am here. I don't know what variety of corn they had in the field at the time, so I don't know exactly how tall it was, but it's easy to get lost in something like this. Let's take a walk. Far enough. I don't want to run into any children of the corn in here. But as Terry mentioned earlier, it's easy to get easily discombobulated in here and can't see where you're going, what's in front of you. It can be pretty nerve-wracking. And we are now in the West Woods at Antietam, and my glasses are getting fogged up with the mask and the sunglasses on.
That's why I took mine off.
Ah, see, well, yeah, you're smarter than I am, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
Here we are where at about 9:30 in the morning, John Sedgwick's division of the 2nd Corps, having crossed the Potomac Creek, comes in from east to west, trying to smash into the Confederate left flank. By this point, Stonewall Jackson has been chopped up pretty well. John Bell Hood's Texas Division, chopped up pretty well. They've fallen back into these woods, and Sedgwick comes slamming on in. But as he does, there are reinforcements from Lafayette McLaws that come in. Walker comes in, and they hit Sedgwick on the flank. So Sedgwick starts taking hits from the front, his left front, and his left. And pardon me as I'm fighting my social distancing appropriate mask here. And so for 20 minutes, Sedgwick's division just is absolutely caught in this meat grinder and sustains severe casualties, over 2,000 casualties. Terry, your first time here in the West Woods, your impressions?
You know, Chris, coming from the cornfield and how we talked about over there, the Union Army kind of getting discombobulated, the slaughter was avoidable if the Union could have kept the integrity of their line. But since they didn't, you know, it was easy for the Confederate Army to just absolutely counterattack and just devastate Sedgwick here in the West Woods.
So because there are actually 3 divisions of the 2nd Corps that come in, 2 of them get sort of sucked away by the landscape over toward the sunken road. And so we'll kind of go down there and explore that next. But that's what leaves Sedgwick's left flank open as he comes in as a follow-up to all those attacks in the cornfield. The Confederates at that point are ripe for exploitation. So if enough of the 2nd Corps can hammer him, perhaps there's the opportunity to really dislodge Jackson, dislodge Hood from here, really strike a blow against Lee's left flank. But those piecemeal attacks are really allowing Lee to shift reinforcements into place just when and where he needs to.
An absolutely missed opportunity by the Union Army, and just, led to total and utter disaster.
So now that you know John Sedgwick from Spotsylvania, where he was mortally wounded.
They couldn't hit an elephant from this distance.
But they could hit a major general there on the 9th of May in 1864. But here, known for his personal bravery, he's leading his men into battle. He gets hit 3 times, seriously wounded, won't return back to the Army until after the Fredericksburg campaign. Thoughts about Uncle John?
You can't question his bravery and his leadership, and just, the fact that, leading from the front, taking, fire, serious wounding, and staying on the field, just a true, story of courage.
It's just an absolutely beautiful day to be out here exploring this battlefield. Wait, what was that? Was that fall? Terry and I are continuing our explorations of Antietam. This is Terry's first time here. We have the large non-Freudian observation tower behind us.
Which was unfortunately closed.
It was closed. That's a bummer. I wanted Terry to be able to see the landscape from there because it is a really cool view. But we're walking down the sunken road, also known as the Bloody Lane. And Terry, your thoughts?
This is just an absolutely crazy position, because you're so far down below grade here in the road. You've got to get up onto the fence line to be able to see the enemy and shoot at them in different places. You have a field of fire and an opportunity to see the oncoming enemy, but in other places you're not going to see them till they're right on top of this position, and makes it, you know, really difficult to defend in some areas and to attack in others.
So yeah, very crazy landscape. That's off to our right, D.H. Hill's division posted here in the sunken road, and off in that direction are the federal advances. And as they come, the landscape actually shields them in places till they get very close, just within a few dozen yards in places, and maybe up to 100 yards in others. So that landscape provides a lot of opportunity for the Federals to get pretty close, but it also prevents them from really concentrating in their assault as they might be able to.
Yeah, because now here we are down here in the road trace, and we keep moving, you know, further and further down slope, and, you know, once we get way down in here, you're not going to be able to see above, you know, the roadbed area.
So of course then the Confederates have to advance up out of the protection of this area, and then that exposes them to fire. So it becomes a very difficult position for the Confederates to hold over the long term. But they do repulse attack after attack until finally the Irish Brigade, back up near the observation tower, which was not here at the time, finally make their breakthrough.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to head down into the, you know, really deep part here of the sunken road, and it's just, yeah, you're well protected here and well hidden, but you can't see, you know, anyone coming.
This is the monument for the 132nd Pennsylvania Volunteers. I would argue one of the most photographed Civil War monuments on any landscape. Here it is in the sunken road. And since it's so photographed, I feel obligated to photograph it as well. So we've moved down the battlefield toward Burnside Bridge, and one of the most visited spots on the battlefield, not just because of the bridge, but because of this monument behind us. It is the world's largest monument to a cup of coffee. Terry?
Well, it's a monument to a cup of coffee because the guy who brought the cup of coffee went on to be president of the United States. If it was Private Christopher W. Mackowski, it wouldn't be such a large monument, if one at all.
Yeah. But coffee is important, though.
As someone who was in the military, yes, it is. Coffee is very important. Coffee is life.
Newly remodeled walkway down to the bridge. It used to be you'd fall right off into that ditch and die, but this rail's nice. So at the beginning of the day, when I asked Terry what he wanted to see at Antietam, the first thing he said was Burnside Bridge. We're on the bridge. What are you thinking?
This is one of the iconic locations of not only Antietam, but of the entire war. And it's everything I was hoping it would be. And that just amazing how narrow it is, and how, you know, the Union Army, the 251st, as you said to me off camera, Chris, came across this bridge and took the position.
Sweeping in that direction?
Yep. Just absolutely amazing. And Antietam Creek below us looks like just this nice, lazy, shallow stream running below us. So just this kind of idyllic setting.
I can't imagine.
It's amazing what happened here.
I can't imagine trying to cross that stream, as shallow as it looks, under fire, and keeping your cartridge box dry and anything like that. And the stream crossing helps outflank this position, and so with the crossing of the 51sts, it does, that stream crossing does help dislodge the Georgians and cause them to fall back, allowing Burnside finally to get across this bridge, and then he's got to spend some time consolidating up in that direction before he's able to finally push onward. So having a good time here at Antietam.
Absolutely.
So, like the Federal Army, we've come up from Burnside Bridge. They align themselves on this ridge behind us, and they're going to advance that direction at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Terry, time for us to make our final advance as well. But with any luck, we're not going to get hit by AP Hillsmen. We're going to come off from our left, off in that direction there. Terry, your first time at Antietam. We've had the chance to explore some of the most iconic landscapes of the war. How you feeling?
Completely invigorated. This was an extremely immersive experience. I have a really good understanding for the layout of the field and how the battle progressed throughout the day. And I said to you in the car between stops, if I had to sum up not only this battle, but the war in 2 words, it's missed opportunities.
Plenty of them here at Antietam. They lead to a lot of fascinating what-ifs, but ultimately the Federals are going to prevail. Robert E. Lee is going to take a beating here, driven back from all spots along the line, but because he is audacity personified, he's actually going to hold on and dare McClellan to attack him on the 18th. McClellan won't, because McClellan's what?
He's McClellan.
He's McClellan. He's in audacity personified. And so then Lee will finally get his opportunity to escape. But lots of interesting questions. What might have been? Missed opportunities is a great phrase. Thanks for spending some time with us here at Antietam. For my good pal Terry Rensel, I'm Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. We'll see you online and on the battlefield as soon as we fix this darn mask.